Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to History of Popcorn, a review. We've got Patrick back because we've been talking about Marvel, and we are doing
Woo!
the review for the new 2021 Black Widow movie, which is a film about Natasha Romanoff and her quest between the films of Civil War and Infinity War. And I guess I'll let you start from like what you thought about the entire movie as a whole.
As
As
a
it fits.
whole,
Yeah.
I to wrap it up, I think I sent you a pretty good sentence
Mhm.
last night. I absolutely loved it.
Mhm.
It was my type of Marvel film. I've always been drawn to the ones that I mean, I like the ones that are like cosmic and have a lot of superpowers, people
Right.
in them and stuff. But I like Winter Soldier is hands down my favorite Marvel movie of all time, and this just reminded me a lot of that, but even
Mhm.
more grounded than that. And it was fast paced. The chemistry between all the actors was fantastic. I love the action scenes. I thought it was photographed wonderfully. Great use of locations,
Mhm.
and overall, it's just based off first impressions, top five Marvel for me.
Nice. Yeah. I liked I could feel a lot of the comparison of like I could kind of see it um in the same realm as Winter Soldier, I feel like, especially with what they do with Taskmaster, I feel like.
Yeah,
Just the character. I mean, I personally there's a this is this a spoiler review, and most of the reviews we will do are spoiler reviews. So if you don't want anything spoiled about Black Widow, I would suggest clicking away until you've seen it or coming back after. But yeah, we're going to talk about what they do with Taskmaster because there is
yeah,
a reveal with that character. But I could see that being reminiscent of Winter Soldier, and it would be cool to see
yeah,
Taskmaster come back in a way because they are a brainwashed character that is doing evil for the sake of the person controlling them. So
yeah.
it's kind of interesting for that. Have you heard of the director? Or are you familiar with the director? Because I
No,
wasn't before this. It's
I
Cate
actually,
Shortland.
yeah, I had to like once the scene like halfway through the movie where the big prison breakout scene.
Mhm.
um like I had to look her up because I was just amazed at the way she placed her camera in locations,
Yeah.
and the set pieces were just really well thought out and photographed amazingly. I can't say that enough. I loved the cinematography in this film,
Mhm.
so I had to look her up, and to my amazement, I have not seen a single one of her films other than Black Widow.
Yeah. Yeah. She's done some television. She's I think was she just a direct yeah, she directed a show called Smilf, a couple episodes of that. Berlin Syndrome lore. So if you heard of that, wow, good for you. I haven't heard of them, but yeah, I was impressed with the things that she did. I really liked
Yeah.
how the movie started with its flashback.
Yes.
I kind of would have been okay with it just being that version of those characters going through the whole thing.
Running
I mean,
away. Yeah.
just because it was Rachel Weisz in the beginning, and David Harbour, his hair at the time, it kind of reminded me of the Mummy. I was like, I just because it was Rachel Weisz, but
Yes.
because he has the same bangs and hair as Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser did, and I was like,
I didn't pick up on that.
and just the riding of the plane, like I like that whole beginning part. That was really cool, and I love
Yeah.
David Harbour's character. I kind of am sad about how much they used Red Guardian because there's not much of him actually in this. He is a big important character for the arc of Natasha and Yelena,
Yes.
but when he fights Taskmaster, I wanted them to sit down and show that fight, but they would cut between it,
Yes.
and he was just getting his ass beat the whole time. And I was like,
Hmm.
he is out of shape, I guess, but I was really excited to see some more Red Guardian action. And the only problem I had with
Yes.
that is I wish there was more Red Guardian in it, but that's because he'll be in the future film, so
Oh
that's
yeah.
different.
I can't. He was one of my favorite parts of the film.
Yeah.
He just brought this big boisterous tough guy in a teddy bear suit kind of feeling to the
Yeah,
whole film.
that scene where he first puts on the
And
suit's really funny.
oh god, it still fits.
He's just grunting in the bathroom.
I
Yeah, there are some
and
really funny parts in this movie.
Oh yeah, I was laughing as much as I was like thrilled by
Yeah,
the action in it. They really did a great job with casting in this film, and the chemistry between Florence and Scarlett was awesome. I
yeah,
I
I loved that relationship as well. I like how their banter back and forth.
yes, some of it like, and this is just me nitpicking, but like some of it was like, okay, that was a bit cringy, but some of it was hysterical. Like the thing with the suit. Like what? It's got a lot of pockets. I use them, and I make my
Yeah,
own modifications.
yeah,
I, I love their and the posing thing. When they're in the
yeah.
shop and she's like doing you do
Just making
this,
fun of her.
you do the superhero pose, like everyone is looking at you. But I thought it was hysterical, and it
Yeah.
just really, it's them being self-aware,
Mhm.
that like, okay, I know, you're making me stupid position, you're a poser. I thought it was clever.
I was upset that I don't know. I like you said. I feel like it was a little late to have Scarlett Johansson be the star of her movie because I was like, there was
Mm-hmm.
something about it that took me out of it in that way because I knew the outcome of where she was going with um what is it? What did she dies in Infinity War, right?
Endgame.
Endgame? Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah. So that one I just I felt it was a little too late for this movie. I was like, I wish I had seen this sooner. That's like
Yeah.
another problem I had. Not like they should have released it in between Civil War. That would have been cool.
the
Right
thing
after.
the thing that the thing that saved them was having, I think, I feel at least,
Mhm.
having that time period between Civil War, and Infinity War, really placing it in that time really, I feel, helped the movie because
Yeah.
of the timeline. And it's there's nothing stopping people from like going back, and when they do their next Marvel marathon, they can watch Civil War and then you can watch Black Widow,
Yeah.
and then, or if
I like
you're,
how it does feel more self-contained than a lot of other Marvel movies where it's
yes,
like, well, what
yes,
I'm just looking for the next big thing to happen sort of thing and it's more like just focused on her. And I
yes,
think that was a very smart decision because they thought about throwing in like some major cameos. Like I heard they might have wanted an Iron Man cameo, but Kevin Feige was like, no, that's not a good idea because we want to prove that Black Widow can stand on her own and she doesn't
mm-hmm,
need any of those guys. That's so Kevin Feige was the one who was like, we don't want any big cameos like that. So that was a really good thing because
yes,
I think a lot of movies are doing that too much with Marvel. Like I don't like how much they used cam or like the big actors for the new Spider-Man movies. Like I know that that's prevalent in the comics and stuff, but the Spider-Man I know learns all the stuff by himself and all that, and
yeah.
that's what I like to see. And he's not riding the back of Iron Man or who is in the second one? Who is
Mysterio. He kind of falls under Jake
oh
Gyllenhaal's.
yeah, he kind of becomes like a yeah.
Yeah, a care. Like,
Well, that one kind of worked. I want to rewatch that one again because I have only seen it like
wow.
once in theaters, but I need to rewatch that one.
Oh
With the
yeah,
first one, he has
that's a good
Homecoming.
one.
Um,
Yeah, I like, going back to nitpicking. I thought Rachel Weisz was a little underused.
mhm,
Um, but I mean, other than that, I just I it was just like a James Bond story set in the MCU, and
mhm,
it had a character that should have had her own solo movie a long time ago, like you
yeah.
said. And but what they did with it now, I thought was great. And they didn't kill off any of their protagonists, which I think is all, or antagonists, which I think
Mhm.
is a smart move when you're dealing with comic book films. And it just it really made me excited for the future of the MCU,
Yeah.
and seeing more of these centered stories like Shang-Chi and the Eternals. And I mean, the Eternals will probably be more higher world stakes.
Right.
But that's what I liked about this. You touched on it a little bit earlier, is that like high stakes for her world, yet like small scale for the MCU. And
Yeah.
I hope that came out right. It feels like its own little self-contained pocket of glory in the MCU,
Mhm.
and it's just a straight up spy action thriller, and I loved it. I will say, like, I had no idea Ray Winstone was in this film. He plays our main baddie.
Yeah. I confused him with I think Stevenson, is that his name?
Okay.
Who played the Punisher the second time, I think, or
Yeah.
Ray
Yeah.
Stevens. I confused it with him. I'm like, whoa, he doesn't look good.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. So
did he get shorter?
yeah, what is this? He looks very different, I thought. And then I realized, oh, okay, they're completely different people. But it took me like before I saw the movie, I was thinking that I'm like, that's him. But no, I was entirely wrong, which I'm happy about.
It was just a surprise to see him, and I always enjoy his work.
What did you think of what they did to Taskmaster?
I
The decision they made.
I was a bit let down,
Mhm.
and only because it seemed like they had such a great first hour and 45 minutes, and they just kind of wrote themselves into a little corner.
Right.
And then, like, okay, what can we do to resolve all this really quick? And I'm not saying like writing wise it was planned that way, but I think just idea wise, it just seemed tacked on,
Yeah.
like, and and I know they're just trying to show that, you know, his daughter was just another victim of his own corporate and power hunger quest in the world. And but yeah, I was just like the Red Guardian, underused,
Right.
and just I don't like tacked on characters, but I didn't mind it because I had so much fun during this movie. I kind of ignored it, and but it was upsetting. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I
I agree.
was really hoping for, you know, one more straight up just Widow versus Taskmaster one-on-one fight, and I thought we were going to get that for a slight second when they landed.
Mhm.
After that whole thing, but then other characters started coming in, and
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a 2-on-1 thing with Yelena coming back or something like what they did with Hobbs and
oh
Shaw.
yeah, that would have been cool.
But I feel like it would have been very reminiscent of Hobbs and Shaw, which happened
Yeah,
like
yeah,
only
true.
like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I don't know, but where they have to like hit him at the same time, and then he won't be able to
Yeah,
calculate. But
you take one, I take one.
yeah, that's one of that. I mean, that was an okay. Yeah, I liked the action scenes with Taskmaster, but I don't like what they did with the character herself
Yeah,
either, because especially because when she takes her helmet off, her head is like, it looks like it's superimposed over the body. Like
mm-hmm.
there's something about it that just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know
I
why.
agree.
Because especially for people who like Taskmaster, I feel like this is going to be a letdown for them as well, because Taskmaster did have a really cool background in the comics of being a mercenary who ends up failing, like being a failed experiment type person. He ends up having a super soldier serum and stuff, and he ends up going evil a couple times, and it's pretty interesting. And what did you think of the post-credit scene then?
Oh, I dug it.
That
I dug it, and
I
like I
agree. It wasn't too big,
immediately,
I think. Where it's like, it
yeah,
was, yeah, I
and
liked it.
I immediately like went to Google and was like, "Is Florence Pugh gonna be in Hawkeye?"
And she
And
is.
I got a yes.
Yeah, she is.
I she was. I am so in love with this woman.
Yes.
I loved her in this. I loved her in Little Women. I
Mhm.
loved her in Midsommar. She is quickly becoming one of my favorite young actresses working right
Mhm.
now, and I thought she was brilliant in this. And she held her own against Scarlett Johansson in
Yeah.
probably the biggest role of Scarlett Johansson's career. She went toe to toe, acting, fighting, humor. I mean, they were awesome together. But
Yeah.
Florence Pugh, I just huge crush.
Yeah, I think what's it called? I think her debut in the MCU has been one of the best in quite a while. I think
Yeah,
her character is so, I don't know what the word is. It's all there for me. I feel like
Oh yeah,
when she was performing, like every little thing she did, it's very.
and I'm curious to see what they're gonna lead into with with her hunting down Clint Barton. And you mentioned about Val potentially setting up a Dark Avengers. And I like that idea, and I'm curious to see how they're going to play with that in Hawkeye, and how, because Clint, I'm curious to see what's going to happen when Yelena and Clint meet, because Clint is going to know so much about her sister that I'm wondering how they're going to play that and how it's going to play out. On top of having Florence Pugh in there, you got Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld is one of my favorite upcoming actresses, and a lot of people
dude,
are like, what? Really? I'm like, yeah.
Edge of 17 is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It makes me so excited because, earlier I mentioned that, these are my type of Marvel movies. These, don't get me wrong, I love World Stakes, but these kind of grounded little pockets of the MCU where we just get these surprise movies. And I love straight action. One of my top 5 favorite movies of all time is the original Die Hard. So to see this type of action in an MCU movie with characters that I'm familiar with, I really, really dig. And they're going to take that to the next level, I feel, in Hawkeye. And it's going to be, I mean, this movie had archery, pigs, and politically motivated action. Those are my 3 favorite things to ever have in a movie. Pigs, archery, and politically motivated action.
What would you try to give it out of 5? I feel like 5 is really restraining the more I think about it, but 5 out of 5, what would you give it?
Out of 5, right now I'm going to say 4.5.
Wow.
But that could change with multiple viewings, based off first impressions. And I'm not sure if it's because, we haven't been hit over the head with these type of films, for the last year and a half. And, we're finally starting to get them in a lot of succession. And I don't know, but there's just something clicked with this movie with me that I absolutely love. And it has nothing to do with it being a part of the MCU. It's just that they did their own thing, and it just happens to be in the MCU.
This could have been a phase 1 movie for sure. Being well told. The more I thought about it, I started to poke holes in it. The more I thought about it, but I realized I shouldn't do that. But
I did the same thing.
I would give it it'd probably be in the middle for me, somewhere around a little above, probably 2.9 or 8. It's around there for me, but that's just upon first viewing. All the stuff that I really, really liked were the new characters, Yelena and Red Guardian. I'm really excited for the future for them. I just feel like I saw Black Widow so much already, and I'm like, there's something that I wish about, a bigger payoff for something, or a better send off for the last shot. I don't know what it was, but I feel like
I get that.
Yeah, but maybe they'll do a Black Widow 2 that still takes place before. That could still happen. There's still conversations about that, I guess. If you like Marvel, this is another Marvel movie that is enjoyable. They don't drop the ball with it like Iron Man 2, but yeah. So let us know what you think of it. Out of 5, what you're excited for, if you saw any Easter eggs that we didn't mention, and compliment Patrick's Avengers shirt if you can.
The one that's way too tight on me.
We both got the red for Red Room.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't support the Red Room, but we're raising awareness.
Yes. This is more representative of the widow's mark, the little red spot,
that's
that always made us kids scared of spiders. All right. Thanks, Elijah, for having me on again, man.
I'll see you again for the next time, and watch Black Widow.
Yeah.
Cool.